For today's episode, we are going to talk about our trip around the world.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, we did it! 9 months around the world.
You know, there were a few times, maybe like 12, where I thought you were going to jump out of the family trip around the world.
You thought.
But you
I thought. If I could have just pushed a button and like...
ejected, you totally would have. Let me throw a few stats at you from all the things that we did. This is like a tip of the iceberg. It doesn't even cover everything. We stayed in 55 Airbnbs. We went on 17 flights. I think we took around 27 boat rides. We jet skied 3 times. If it was up to Britlin, our daughter would have been like 52 times. We were on ATVs 2 times. How many tours we went on? I don't even know. Maybe 30, 50, 60?
Too many.
I don't even know.
No, some of them were awesome. Some were a little too much.
Some were a little long. We had 8 rental cars. We paid over $1,400 in speeding tickets. That's mostly in Australia because, guys, if you go there, they do not pull you over by a car like in America. They have these cameras that take pictures and you don't even know. So we learned that one,
They were all for me.
the hard way. That's for Justin. Ubers and taxis, I have no idea. So many.
Probably 100 or more.
18 trains. We've stayed overnight in 55 cities. How many cities we actually visited? 60, 70, 80? I don't even know. 11 countries. Only 1 lost luggage for a temporary amount of time.
Not
Yours?
too bad. I may have been sleeping in the buff a couple nights. Tara didn't
No
mind.
complaints.
Tara didn't mind.
That was for about a week. If anybody had to lose their luggage, you were the best one to have that happen.
And I'm free. Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Okay. We had 1 cell phone that was almost lost 3 times. And honestly, in miraculous ways, it returned. Those are just some of the stats of this pretty epic trip.
Okay, so for anyone who hasn't been following our journey, we recently went on this 9-month trip around the world. This is something that we've been wanting to do ever since our kids were little. But we did that one trip to Disney World and we're like, no, we need to hold off on this for a little bit.
We took our kids to Disney World and we were literally going to sell everything and go travel. They were way too young. So I'm really glad we took that trip because it would have been brutal.
Yeah. Just over a year ago, we were sitting in our house, our dream home that we loved, that we had lived in for 2 years.
It was wonderful.
8,500 square feet, 2 acres of lots of vegetation.
Beautiful.
Lots to take care of. And it just hit us. It was like, this has been great. This has been amazing. But for the same amount of money that we're spending to maintain this resort, right? A hotel, which we love. We love that we were able to have some people come visit us. That was super fun.
Lots of good memories.
It's like, hey, we could go visit a resort or hotel whenever we want, and we don't have to maintain it. We could take that same amount of money and we could literally travel around the world for the same price. Something that we always wanted to do. Our kids are getting older, and we thought, let's do this. Let's sell our house.
Let's go for it.
And let's go.
It's so funny because you buy things thinking they're going to make you feel a certain way. And they do temporarily, 1 to 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever it is. But you take your same self to wherever you go. And so the house was super fun. But after a bit, I honestly felt really overwhelmed with the amount of stuff. 2 dishwashers and big old garage and the guest house. And I was just like...
4 ACs, 4 heaters.
It was like my life flashed before my eyes. And I was like, I'm going to be doing this the rest of my life. I'm a hotel manager now. I had to do, it just felt kind of...
I was a pool boy. You didn't mind that.
You were a good pool boy. But I was like, my life is flashing before my eyes. And I think there's something else I want to do with my time besides take care of a large home. And so I think it's really fun. And if it's your thing, it's your thing. But it's not totally our thing. But it was so fun to do for a couple years and have that dream.
It was super fun. But okay, next.
So yeah, Brogan was graduating high school. Our kids are getting older. And so we were like, if we're going to do it, this is the time because Brogan's going to go off on his own. He's going to leave the nest. So we wanted to take advantage of this opportunity. And so we sold everything, purged everything. I mean, we gave away so much stuff. That's crazy.
Like U-Haul loads full of stuff. Family would come and visit and we're like, we'll load up the U-Haul. Ship it, take it with you.
That was like a daily lesson in letting go. Because when you buy something, you want to keep it and you want it to have value. And you feel like when you just give it away a couple years later and it's this beautiful piece of furniture and you're just like handing it out left and right, that's a way to check yourself and go, can I let go of this many things? And why am I doing this? I have no idea. What a waste of time and money. That was a mental process.
It doesn't bother me as much as it did you. I don't know if that means something's wrong with me or with you. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I'll buy all this stuff and get rid. Here you go, take it. Like, am I just not frugal and wasteful, or I just am better at letting go?
I don't know, but it felt like a purge and it felt good.
Okay, so it felt good to both of us.
It felt so amazing to walk away from that beautiful experience, but also not not have to take care of all that stuff. Like
True.
that to me was just like, oh, I feel good. It took a big burden off my shoulders.
Touche, right? Not touche.
Touche.
So we went for it. We're like, okay, what's life all about? Time for our next adventure. Maybe we're just chasing something.
Possibly.
I used to think that whenever we'd go on vacation or travel anywhere, that it would mean that you and I would just have this wild, fun time.
Conversation?
Yes, conversation.
Oh, okay.
Like, oh, this is a way to get closer to Tara. We'll get into that, right? But you had some anxieties around traveling and stuff like that. So we would
I
show
was
up.
a horrible traveler.
We would show up like a 10-year anniversary in Costa Rica, and you were...
I was like having panic attacks.
You did good. You did good. I didn't realize how anxious you were until later.
Yeah.
By the bike. Yoo-hoo! All alone. No kids.
And I'm stressing.
Still got a couple muscles left over here. Woo! Here they are.
No, this trip was a big stretch for me, but it was also something I wanted because I felt very limited by my travel anxiety. And it wasn't like I'd always had been that way. It was just when I turned 33, I just had a breakdown. And we talked about that. I just wanted to be free of it. It was like a crazy thing to do. The last time I had traveled was, 2 weeks in Iceland, and I was fritzing at the end. That did not go well. It was cool, but at the end, I was dying. I was like, I have got to go home, and I was so relieved to be home.
Well, we all got COVID on that trip.
We all got COVID. It was
You thought
crazy.
we were going to be stuck in the country, and
I didn't want to be stuck. Beautiful country. I just didn't want to be stuck. My mind could not cope with that.
Well, what blows my mind, I mean, whoever would have thought that this would have been your idea? You would have been the one pushing for it. And I'm like, okay. We both thought I thought you would be the one to tap out.
Totally.
And instead, I'm the one who wants to hit the eject button.
The whole family was like, Mom's tapping out.
I can't do this.
It exposed just
Jason!
So yeah, it was a big risk. It was risky taking our teenagers out of high school, taking them away from their friends, family, church, community. A lot of times I was like, oh my gosh, I'm giving everything away in my house. I don't even have a house. I'm homeless. We're taking our kids. They're going to spend 24/7 with us. Like, is this smart? Is this a good idea? It was a huge risk, leap, jump, and we did it. And I love it that we did it.
I love that we did it too. But here's a question though. Was it everything you dreamed it would be? I mean, when people hear about this, what we were going to do and what we did, I think we get one of two reactions. One is like, oh my gosh, you're so lucky. It's like,
it's my dream.
What would that be like? I think they imagine it's like going on a vacation for 9 months. Mm-hmm. Like when you go to just this tropical vacation, it's just so perfect and so amazing. And then there's another camp that's like, what the heck? How could you do that? I could never do that.
Yeah,
there's not really any in the middle.
No. So yeah, you asked, was it everything we hoped? Like in some ways it was. It had this interesting effect. Like I do feel like I went on this trip just wanting to run away from everything.
Totally.
Really, it was just me running away from some internal discomfort.
We're running away from ourselves, but we can't dislocate ourselves from ourselves.
Well, that's the thing. We were traveling long enough.
Brain, you stay here. I'm going.
Discomfort, you stay here.
Yeah,
the fun, Tara, she's going to go party. Like, let's go. But we stayed long enough on these trips to where we got past the travel high. Like, when you go for like a week or two, and it's so fun, and you're out of your element, and you're having such a great time, and then you go home, and you're like, oh, if I could just be traveling all the time. We were there long enough to get past the high to then be in real life, among real people, moving constantly, exploring and having adventures in all these different places. And so you can't stay on that high forever. And so you do come down.
I don't want people to feel like they're missing out if they don't go. It's just, it was part of our journey.
I mean, I would say marrying you is like one of the craziest things I've ever done.
Oh, I thought you were going to say one of the best, most amazing
It is because
things.
You expose
like trip,
all of my weaknesses. And so traveling is similar. It'll expose your family dynamic, your ability to handle change, your ability to be resilient. How do you feel about money? How do you feel about just going from place to place, different people, different countries, different food? It exposes a lot.
I think that's the key, right? And that's what we're all about with Millionaire University and starting a business. I mean, it's the same thing. If you haven't yet started a business and created the lifestyle that you would need or want to be able to do something like this, then that's where you're at. That's your journey right now. I mean, there are ways you can travel. Go stay in Bali.
Yeah, Bali's a great place to go if you have a low budget. This was our overall plan. We kind of mapped out some different areas that we wanted to go to, and you start big. It's pretty overwhelming to take on a whole country and figure out, where do I want to go in this massive country?
I feel like in one episode we talked about the hourglass phenomena, is what we called it in business. And I feel like that was what this trip is like too. We had all these places we wanted to go. And at first it was like a few places, but then it kept growing and growing and growing. And then people tell you about them. And then you feel overwhelmed. You're like, you're like excited. Then you're overwhelmed. You feel FOMO. And then someone else says, this is my favorite place. It's the best place ever.
You have to go here.
And so we'd add it to the list, but then we'd be overwhelmed. So we'd shrink it back in. We'd be like, okay, we're good. But then you're like, what about this place? What about this place? Ultimately, we figured out the places that we wanted to go and we mapped it out. And we thought this logically, based on looking at this map of the world, seems like it'll make the most sense to travel from here to here to here to here to here.
With the shortest amount of flights, the easiest transitions, like let's go to this country, which is close to this country, and kind of make like a loop. So in the middle of our trip, we had to go back to San Diego because I had some dental work to get done. Woo!
If you hear her talk like this, hello. She's getting better, though. It's not
Berlin had to get a driver's license. Brogan actually came home halfway through and stayed with my parents in Utah because he wanted to be home for a bit because he was going to do some traveling afterwards. And so we did a loop over to Asia, New Zealand, Australia. We'll kind of talk about some of the countries. And then we looped over to Florida, Puerto Rico, and hit up Europe. So first we would kind of choose a country and then cities within the country and then kind of map it in a way where we could not be backtracking and do this crazy trip. First we would figure out country, cities, and then I would go book flights. You know, flights are kind of the hardest thing. Can I actually get there? When can I get there? How many red eyes do I have to do? We only did one. That's pretty epic. Once we got flights, I would then go and book accommodations like Airbnbs. Can I actually stay here? Then I'd book those. And I was like, sweet. Once I had flights and Airbnbs, I'm like, the rest is doable.
And I feel like as you were doing this, I was kind of just double checking some stuff. And then I was like, I should probably check the weather in these places. So it's good we did that because we were able to change some things up before we
hit hurricane season and the winter in Europe. That worked out really well. And then once you have flights, hotels, booked cars, trains, kind of transportation. And then after that was like tours. What do we want to do when we're there? And our first leg, we were in a lot of nature. And so we didn't need too many tours and we could just show up and book those. But in Europe, there are some places we wanted to book ahead. And so we did some of those kind of when we came home midway.
Tara killed it. If anyone's looking for a travel agent, she's
cow.
your gal.
Holy details of America. That was wild.
Just kidding. I don't think
of the world.
I don't think there's any amount of money you could pay her. I mean, she would love to share some tips, which is what we're doing right now.
We're both planners and we're both pushers. We want to know what's going on. We want to understand. We want to have the details down. And then there's the person who's pushing outside of the details. Like, let's just go. Let's be free spirited. And so on this trip, I was definitely the planner. Like I had the details. I had the Excel doc. I had an Excel sheet that had every city and the tours booked in there, the times, cars that we're taking, the trains, apps for all the information, passports. Do not touch the passports. That's my duty. We literally go through airport security. I'd be like, here you go. Hand it back. Here you go. Give it back. Here you go. And
she is not controlling at all. She's not OCD. Just kidding. Actually, it's perfect. We would have lost lots of things.
It works really well. You like to push outside the comfort zones. And I'm the planner who goes, how are we even getting here? And what do we need? And basically everyone is asking me every day, what are we doing? That was kind of my role. That was like a part-time job. That was a good job.
It was a part-time job. You may have heard me on a few more episodes than her during this time.
Truth. So true.
Well, you were the planner, and you are also mainly over the kids and their schooling and making sure Kason got his 100 assignments done that he was behind on. And
checking their online schooling, paying all the bills, booking everything, making sure we knew where we were going, when we were supposed to be there. And so making sure we had food. It's so interesting because you show up in an Airbnb. On the first leg, the first 4 months, we went at a faster pace, and that was a little too fast.
Yeah.
And so on the second leg, when we started booking for Puerto Rico, Florida, and Europe, we were like, let's stay a week pretty much at every place we go. Where before we were like 3-4 days, maybe 5 days. And this time we stayed a week, which gave us more time to relax a bit, check the place out, have food for a week. And so it was so interesting to show up these Airbnbs. Do they have anything? Sometimes they'd have all these spices and these cool cooking things. And other places are like nothing, bare boned. And you have to get everything you need to eat for a week.
So we started off in Hawaii.
Went to the Big Island.
And then Oahu. Mm-hmm. So then went to Bali.
Stayed in multiple cities there, about 4 or 5. Every 4 or 5 days we were moving around, traveling to a new house, picking up everything and going to the new spot.
And then we went to Australia.
We were there for a month, started up north, and then went all the way down on the coast to Sydney.
That was amazing.
Beautiful. What
were those birds called? The white birds that just fly up. Our kids were not feeding them. So if anyone out there is
we're not breaking any
environmentalist, we did not have almonds on our porch with about 12 of those big white huge birds. What are they called? Cockatoos?
Yeah.
We did not have any of those. And they were not landing on our children.
Australia's beautiful. I mean, we're used to California beaches, which are beautiful, but Australia, there's so much coastline and so little population. And so you show up to these epic beaches and you're the only one there.
There's a lot more coastline with a lot less people. And so it's like you'd be running on this beach and literally no one's there. Not always. I mean, of course, there's some beaches in Sydney, especially that are very busy. Bondi Beach. A lot of the places we went, it was just like so chill and relaxing. Isn't it good? You love my accents.
It is good. The people were really cool too. Everywhere we went, people seemed to have an opinion of Americans. Americans. I get it. We're wild and crazy. And they just seem to be like, oh, cool, and just chill and very inviting, warm people. That was cool.
I thought everyone was warm and inviting, though. I would ask people, so what do you think of Americans? But it's like someone asking us, what do you think of this country or that country? You know, like then you feel like you have to give an opinion. So
it was more just interesting what people thought. Then we went to New Zealand after that for about 3.5 weeks.
That was amazing.
Gorgeous, green.
We got pushed off some 350-foot cliff swings.
Oh, my goodness.
Brogan and Britland flipped off of it. It was like 8 flips or something like that.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
That's the only thing I think I stayed out of because I'm like, the amount of pain to do this as opposed to the joy of doing it. No, thank you.
Tara does not like drops. Anything that drops, she does not love.
But guys, I have a video of Justin doing this, and I think he about died. He encased it.
Post it right here.
That was pretty great.
They call it Russian roulette, and you pull this thing, and one of them is going to make you just drop. But I will say, I'm not usually that afraid of any roller coasters. Like, it's almost boring to me. Roller coasters and rides at amusement parks. Tell you what, hanging from that cliff and look at, be like, what the heck? That was pretty
That's intense.
Exhilarating, we'll call it. My limbic brain was definitely kicking in. Like, what are you doing, you idiot?
Well, I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, and so I've always wanted to go to New Zealand because the scenery is gorgeous.
Yeah,
I'm
it's so beautiful.
Take me to New Zealand, and I love nature, and so I was really excited to go there, but I had no idea. Queenstown is the extreme capital of the world, where bungee jumping was created.
And the biggest bungee jump in the world.
So they had so many fun things to do that we didn't hardly even get to tap into, but we went on an epic whitewater.
In Rotorua.
Rotorua, that was really cool. And some fast boats. One of the funnest days I think we had was when we were in Queenstown and we were on the go-karts going down the hill a million times.
Those aren't go-karts per se, but they're...
I don't even know what they were.
Like
it was like Mario Kart with the family. That was so fun. So New Zealand was wonderful because you could hike all day.
I may have crashed into Kason and he didn't like me for a while, but
yeah, well,
that's typical.
Yeah, that's not new. So we went to New Zealand, and then after that, we went to French Polynesia. And we started in Tahiti. Tahiti's great, but we loved the outer islands better.
Tahiti was cool, like going through the mountain. But I think we were both a little like, oh, it's not quite as
picturesque as you would think.
I bet if you stayed on one of the overwater bungalows, if you went straight there, remember crossing that bridge? Very intimidating looking people.
Youngsters hanging out, and we're like...
just hanging out on this bridge. And
right by our Airbnb.
We had to cross. But then you say, hi, how's it going? Then they're just smile. They're super nice. Like, okay. But when you're in a new place, I think you just don't know what to expect, right? It's like anything in life. Something new feels kind of scary. Your system just kind of kicks in. Am I safe? Is this okay? What are the rules here? How does this work?
Yeah. And so French Polynesia started in Tahiti, and then we hit up about 4 different islands. And that was really cool. You take these little flights that they don't even check what you have, and you just kind of hop on this flight.
That was insane.
Quick and easy, and just the view from the airplane is gorgeous.
So we're in this island called Maupiti. Hardly anyone lives there. I don't know, it was just really cool being there.
It was like taking a step back in time. They say it's like Bora Bora 50 years ago.
What was so cool, there's like mango trees everywhere, and you could just eat all the mangoes you wanted because they're just everywhere. And at first we're like, can we just eat these? And it's like,
they were so good. We showed up, and our house didn't have AC. I just assumed booking Airbnbs that everybody has AC. There's no way you'd be in this really hot island and they wouldn't have AC, but they didn't. That was challenging.
That was brutal.
We didn't speak French, so we couldn't really speak to anybody. And then our internet wasn't working, so we couldn't use Google Translate. So you kind of fritz for a minute when you're in a place like that because you're in the middle of nowhere. It's like the cutest, coziest little island, but it almost feels like you got dropped onto somebody's family reunion and you're like one of 12 outsiders on the whole island. And you're like, is it okay that I'm here? Like, what's going on?
It's so interesting when you're in a situation like that. It's easy to feel like they don't want us here. We don't fit in. But then in a way, I feel like those are the people that we connected with the most. Mm-hmm. But it's because we went for it. Where we were talking to their kids, they were just like laughing at us.
Yeah, we had some of my most favorite memories of connecting with people was on that island.
It's like at the food truck, we felt like family pretty quickly. Now, if we would have had a little bit nicer place we were staying at with AC and a nice little beach close by, because we had to like go kind of far.
We had a beautiful visual beach, but we couldn't swim in it.
That area would have probably been our favorite, honestly.
It was so gorgeous.
But
the blue and the turquoise, and that's where we swam with manta rays. And
that day when we went on that boat ride and swam with the manta rays, and they took us over to the Coconut Island and
on their private land.
His private land, and we're just walking around getting all these fruits and all these things, and the kids are making hats. That was special.
What I loved about those islands is they don't really have grocery stores like we're used to.
No.
And so you show up and they're almost like these little booths. and they have some things.
How many did we have to go to?
We
First of all,
had
it wasn't
to
open
go-
on Sunday,
No,
which is the
nothing
day
was
we
open.
got there.
We had no food, nothing.
We didn't know how to get the internet when we got
Okay,
there.
we're
They're-
starving.
and they only spoke French. How do we do this?
How's this even going to work? And we're running a business while we're doing this, so it's not like we can be without all the things that we need.
We went to like 5 or 6 stores
Yeah, 'cause
on
one
bikes to try
store-
to find what we needed.
If you call them stores, but yeah, they're like little shops. You can get eggs here, but you got to go to the other shop to get honey, and then you got to go to the other one. They don't have as many options.
If you can
that's
even
part
get
of
the things
the
you're trying to get.
romantic part of it. That was one of my favorite cultural experiences.
That was good. And that fish coconut meal, that was pretty good.
Oh yeah, you love that.
Bora Bora was okay. People might get mad at me saying this, but I think I just expected it to be so amazing and so perfect. It was still cool though.
The water everywhere in French Polynesia is gorgeous, and you can see through it to the bottom.
And we did go swim with sharks, and you were
Yes.
kind of freaked out at first, but then you...
I mean, we hopped up and these sharks are underneath us and these jet skis, and they're like, okay, we'll just hop out. And I'm like, what? Naturally, my mind is going to say, probably not a good idea. Did it, and it was epic.
That was one of the day or two I was having a moment. You guys went jet skiing and I didn't go.
Yeah, one day Justin
It's so
stayed
funny
home.
when you're in limbic brain and you look back and you're like, what the heck?
wrong
What
with
was
me?
my problem? What a moron.
That's one of the beautiful things about traveling is you're in this place and you're literally going to go swim with sharks and you're like, what is my deal? Like, why can't I get it together? And so
Totally.
it really does expose what goes on inside of you when you're in paradise and you can't
Yeah.
enjoy it. Then we came home for a few weeks, took care of a few items, and then we headed off to Florida. Went to the Keys.
Florida Keys, that was fun.
Those were super cool.
Tara went wakeboarding.
I did.
Was that your first time wakeboarding?
So good.
Or no?
Fucking
Wakeboarding from a cable.
Yeah.
The kids did awesome on that.
I case and killed it on that
We'd already been snorkeling a lot, and we were going to do a snorkeling trip, but it got canceled, even though
because of the rain.
we forgot to mention we went to like the Great Barrier Reef,
Oh, that was
Florida, and Australia.
epic. Australia.
The Great Barrier Reef in Florida. By the way, when you go to Australia, I hate to say it, you think you're going to see kangaroos everywhere. You see more on the road, unfortunately.
You do see them, but yeah, they're
But we
trying
did,
to look
we
like
did see
kangaroos.
that. We did see them. We did see them.
Yeah.
That was pretty
They're cool. I went running
was
one
super
morning and there was one as tall as myself with massive muscles, just went running in front of me and scared me half to
That
death.
would be scary.
I was like, you could really hurt me. And it just went cruising by. So in the Florida Keys, that was wonderful, fun, quaint.
Yeah, it was just
kind of
fun.
feels like a New Orleans
chill.
in a coastal environment.
I feel like we had been in a lot of different countries, too,
Mm-hmm.
in different places. The place we stayed was just nice and comfortable and cozy.
And there was AC.
There was a, yes, exactly.
You can tell we're
Oh,
divas
yeah,
with the
but
AC.
pickleball, the kids loved
Yes.
playing pickleball. There, just some really nice people. It's just everywhere you go, like there's such amazing people in this world. You watch the news and people are always saying, oh, this world. And yeah, there's a lot of hard things that do happen in the world, but there's so much goodness, so many more amazing people than, I don't even like to say bad people, people that are suffering or confused. But just so many good, amazing people out there. And I think that was one of the big takeaways.
And it was interesting too because we'd get to know people, you know, as humans, including myself, we have walls a bit. But it was like if you show someone that you care, we had a lot of Uber drivers
Holy.
and it was awesome because Justin's more extroverted, I'm more introverted. And, you know, I'm planning all these details. And so when I finally get into the Uber car, I'm just like, oh, I'm going to take a breather. So Justin every single time would sit in the front seat. And it was so great because, first of all, a lot of times the drivers were a little bit frustrated that he was up there because there were 4 of us. So we needed all the space. And so they kind of sit up there and they're like, oh,
Yeah, that was
great.
pretty
Like,
funny. They always have something sitting on their seat.
They'd have to move it.
And I just open the door and they all smiling, hey.
And a lot of times they'd be a little
Hola.
bit ornery at first. And then Justin would just start asking them about themselves. Like genuinely, what do you do? And have you lived here? And what do you do for work? Pretty much everybody would warm up and we'd end up having these good conversations. And
We shared the podcast with half of them and talked about different business ideas of things they could do. And the other like, oh, I want to do that. And I'm like, hey, you can do it. You can do whatever you want.
yeah, so Justin was the designated front seat sitter and the question asker.
But we actually, I mean, we didn't even mention that in some of the places we were driving on the left side of the road and we were the ones
Yeah.
driving. That was pretty intense.
That was intense, the left side of the road. But we got it. We got it down pretty good.
Puerto Rico was after Florida Keys. That was awesome. I feel like we were a little tired.
Well, we'd been swimming in so many oceans and we'd been in so much water. I think once we got to Puerto Rico, we just kind of wanted to chill. So we just kind of went around. We'd breathe a bit, but the water there is beautiful. It was warm and
And that's the difference too. This was a trip. It wasn't necessarily just vacation because our kids were doing school. We were doing some work stuff. Our general schedule is we would wake up, would usually go running or do some exercise.
yeah, I'd
or
wake
something
up and
like that.
study. You'd usually be working because you'd wake up and you're like, I got an idea.
Yeah, wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. No, I'm just kidding.
And then we'd go running, exercise, come home and work.
Kids would would work for a few hours, and then usually go on an adventure in the afternoon-ish.
Run 1, 2, 3, anywhere around there. We always ate breakfast at home and lunch at home. It was just easier. And then we go out to eat every night and just explore.
Out to eat and explore, yeah, wherever we were.
Sometimes we'd have a full day tour, so we'd be doing that. And then usually about once a week or so, it was a travel day. So those days I was on like Airbnb duty. So I like to leave the Airbnb pretty clean. Justin was always like,
pay for a cleaner. Like,
because
it makes no
home.
sense. But then I feel guilty that you're cleaning and I'm not.
Every single time Justin's like, you don't need to do that. And I'm like, I enjoy doing this. Just let me do it.
Well, at least let the kids do it.
If someone came to my home, I would want them to leave it nicely. And I don't know. I feel like an ambassador from America. A lot of times Americans can get a bad rap because, we can be a little...
Because of people like me?
Self-entitled.
Is that what you're talking about?
Totally.
What are you trying to say?
So I wanted to leave it nice. So I would get up in the mornings, get that all clean. We'd check out anytime from like 10, 11, 12, go on a plane or a train. And those were usually travel days where it was just like travel to the next space boat.
So we did Puerto Rico, and then after Puerto Rico, we
did Europe. So you can only do 90 days in Europe. And we didn't know that before we planned the trip, which was why we went to Florida and then Puerto Rico first before we headed to Europe, because we wanted to take advantage of some of those cold months. And then we tried to push Europe back as far as we can to get into the spring. 90 days is what we had.
Starting in Spain, Madrid.
Madrid, so cozy and cute.
So fun.
That was so fun. It was such a fun transition to be the first half so much in nature and then all of a sudden to be in architecture and food and people everywhere and all these cool churches and cathedrals. And that was a fun change. Our kids really enjoyed it.
That was the first time that we stayed in what they call a flat. That was literally like you look out and there's just shops and stores and food and protests and all the things everywhere.
People everywhere.
The squares and right in the heart. This is so fun. We'd never been to Spain. I don't know. I feel like that was one of my favorite areas. I'm not sure if it was a newness being in Europe.
I mean, the bread there's amazing. The food is amazing. They have stores everywhere. They have shops everywhere. It's just quaint and fun and charming.
Going to all the places that Somebody Feed Phil went to.
That's a good show.
Churros dipped in chocolate.
Oh, yeah, that was so good. We went to so many different places, had so much good food. It's just so fun to explore the history and the culture and the buildings. I was blown away by the buildings. One thing that surprised me about Europe, my only complaint really is smoking. That was hard. I'm used to being kind of outdoor and where we live, but there was just a lot of smoking. That was the one thing that I was just like, oh, so much smoke in my face. I can't deal.
Well, I think it's the combination of the smoking, but also you walk everywhere. At least we did, because we weren't outside in the country area, right? We were in the cities.
We were in the cities. It would be the same if we went to LA
I was
going to
say,
York.
If you're LAX and you're walking around or you're getting out of the airport, we experienced that same thing, right?
Same in Bali, too. That was
Bali,
as well.
lots. I thought Bali was going to be my favorite place. And I still loved it. I thought it was great. But it was one of my least favorite, probably because I sucked at surfing. We almost lost Brogan, which we didn't mention.
We did. That was terrifying.
We're backpacking a lot. That was really scary. There was lots of smoke and lots of traffic. And it was hot.
And a good amount of trash, which, makes sense. I did love the people. And
we
watching their
and
religious
the pizza.
practices.
The people and the pizza was amazing.
Pizza was horrible. Do not get pizza in Bali.
Do not. But things are super cheap.
The prices are amazing. This is my favorite thing about Bali. You can get massages for like 2 hours for $17.
He was just an attractive, strapping man. I'm just kidding. It wasn't.
No, it's not. But yes, the prices there are, you could go live there for pennies compared to some of the places that you all are living at.
Yeah, when we first got there, we're like, we could live in this resort and have a chef essentially cook for us and a cleaner and a pool and a driver. And we figured it would cost us $1,000 a month.
Probably like a couple $1,000 a month.
$1,000 a month.
You could be fed well, driven around, and live in a beautiful place by the beach.
So you could be done right now.
You could retire.
If you have a couple $100,000.
And a lot of people do.
Bali. Or a lot of young people live the laptop lifestyle in Bali, whatever you want to call it.
There are some party zones, but we're just a cute little family bopping around, so we avoided that.
Jared Krause, he's Australian, but he lives in Bali right now, actually, who was on an episode recently. Super cool guy.
So back to Europe. We started in Spain, Madrid, loved it, went to Barcelona, stayed by the La Sagrada Familia. That was epic. That building is one of the most amazing buildings I've ever seen.
Oh, that was super cool.
The Florence Duomo and Milan Duomo and
we did
the
what
Vatican.
Kind of cooking class did we do?
We did 3 different cooking classes. We did a paella cooking class in Barcelona. So we love Spain. The people are just warm. It's beautiful. Lots of great shopping in Europe.
So in Europe, we did all trains pretty much.
All trains. So we took one flight from Puerto Rico. That was our only red eye because that was the only flight it would do.
The only flight available?
The only flight option there was a red eye. And then the rest of the times we took trains. That was great.
That was cool.
That was
really
really
we were
nice.
able to like work on things and just...
Internet was spotty, but hey.
That's true. It was spotty.
Better than no internet.
I was able to sit across from Kaysen and be like, do your work. Come on, do your work. Kaysen is my best teacher. That's like I said. I'm super grateful to him.
Teacher.
I love that guy. We just are both very stubborn and determined, and we're doing a lot better though now that we don't talk a whole lot.
Well, that's so cool about this this traveling is that, a lot of times people think I'm going to travel and fill a void. And you know what? In a way, it kind of does. You can't be resting on your laurels. Like, you're out there.
Yeah.
You've got to be resilient. Traveling at this pace is not for the faint at heart. There's a lot to do, a lot to figure out. I mean, everywhere you went, you had to figure out, do I have the right adapter? What's the currency? What's the vibe? How do people get around? Where are the good places to go? How do people communicate? How's the service? Do you leave a tip?
Not good.
What is the money?
No, a lot of the service is good. It's just different. In the U.S., people get paid a lot of the money they get is from tips, right?
Yeah, so we're motivated to
you just have to
each other
learn.
right.
It's just different. Like, the culture is just different, and you have to recognize that and appreciate that, and just be like, okay, there's pros and cons anywhere you go.
And so what was great about this travel is that, we're together 24/7. And so it definitely exposed certain things that bugged each other. If we could have written down how many fights there were, I have strong memories, but I like these memories of just having these really intense conversations. I think I did swear at Kaysen one time.
Oh, yeah, in Puerto Rico.
In Puerto Rico.
Sure.
Because I was like, oh, God, am I going to be?
What was it? But he wanted to get cheese or something? I don't remember.
Something. I'm not one to swear.
You've probably sworn, probably doubled it in the last, on the trip.
Totally. And so.
But still, like 10 times in your whole life, right?
I mean, you have these moments, where kids are wonderful and they're unaware, and parents are wonderful, we're unaware. And so we would just have these conversations, and luckily we're always learning and trying to face ourselves. And so, we pushed each other's buttons quite a few times, and I appreciate that. I'm grateful for that.
Well, we went from 8,500 square foot house with a guest house and extra rooms. Like, we could just go into the guest room or something, to small apartments. We
went from, I couldn't even hear you around the corner at the big house, to I think everybody can hear a conversation in the house everywhere.
Yeah, how many of the rooms that we had, like, could you not
even... They didn't even have, like, walls or ceilings sometimes. Lock. And it was crazy because some places, Bali or French Polynesia, it's just open living. So they just leave the doors open and the windows open, and animals will come in our house in the night and freak us out. And, there's crabs crawling around, and you're like, oh, there's just a crab in the kitchen. Okay, well, that was kind of wild having that.
Spiders are not that big of a deal in Australia.
No, the spiders and snakes we didn't even see. I think we saw one.
And they say there's like less deaths of snakes because they do have all the vent. Anyway, then we went to France after Spain.
Then we went to France, went to Marseille.
Marseille was nice. It was fun. We didn't like it as much as Nice.
Yeah, Marseille was cool. It wasn't quite as clean as I thought it would be, but they had some cool shopping and some cool food.
But if you're only going to go to one place in the French Riviera, like Nice or Marseille, I would say go to Nice.
Nice was so cozy. I mean, they had the quaintest little areas. It was during Carnival, so we got to kind of check some of that out. And then they have this coastline where you can run in just this open space. That was really nice because after being kind of in cramped spaces, you just want to breathe a minute. And so we could cruise along that. That was wonderful.
Everywhere you go, it's like
so quaint.
You felt like you're in a movie.
We were our own life movie. And then we went to Italy. We stayed in this cute little town called Lerici. So it was teeny.
We were in Italy for 38 days.
And this place was just beautiful. We were on this house on a hill overlooking the ocean.
Lerici is by Cinque Terre, or Cinque, I forget how you say it in English, Cinque Terre, which was cool, but not as cool as we thought. Staying in Lerici, in the place that we stayed at, if you want to know the exact Airbnb, reach out to Tara.
Totally.
Tara at millionaireuniversity.com.
But that was beautiful. And they did take us to this cool island I'd never heard of that I actually liked more than Cinque Terre.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And then we went to Florence. Loved Florence. Loved the Duomo there. The shopping there was really fun. I just really liked the vibe of Florence. Really enjoyed it. We did the cooking class there with pasta and tiramisu. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
Then we went to Rome. Rome is always cool. There's so much to see. So many neat places to go to.
Oh, man. You talk about these things. I keep trying to think of where I would recommend for one person to go. If you've never been to Europe and you want to travel the world and you want to go to one place, I would say you have to go to Rome.
You have to go to Rome.
And if you can only go to one place in Rome, go to the Forum. It's right next to the Colosseum, so go to the Colosseum as well.
I would go to the Vatican. That's fascinating.
Okay, so I would say number one, the Forum, and along with the Colosseum, like just do them both together. You're there and you're like, oh my goodness.
History everywhere.
Feel like you are going back in time, but so many different parts of time. And you're like, where am I? What is happening? if you want to go to like a beach, go to a beach, right? There's not beaches. That was pretty epic.
Then we went to Naples. That was
Oh my
wild.
gosh.
So we were in an Uber being taken to the train station.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh, where are you guys going? And we said we're going to Naples. And he was like, oh, Naples is crazy. Yeah. And he's telling us all these crazy things.
Driving's crazy.
And we thought to ourselves, sure.
Like, yeah, right.
No, like, he just has a strong opinion because they're neighboring.
Like, how can it be that much different than where we've been in Italy already?
And then we show up and get in our first Uber to take us from the train station to our Airbnb. The driving there is insane.
So crazy. I thought we were going to die.
For sure. It was kind of fun and exhilarating, but it's not quite as quaint and cozy. It was different than I thought, but the pizza.
Oh, what would you pay right now for that?
The Eat, Pray, Love pizza?
The Eat, Pray, Love pizza.
There's this pizza place, and you show up, there's a big old line. This cute ornery guy's like, what do you want? Here, takes your number, and you get this pizza, what was it, like $4?
It was so cheap.
And we just went out in the street.
Well, we each got our own $4 pizza.
Right. Everybody needs a pizza, right? And in Italy, they actually do get a pizza and they eat the whole thing, and they sit down and eat it with a fork and a knife. This place, we just went in the street, and we were like, oh, let's just have a little pizza. I downed that pizza.
It was so great, guys. She's standing there with her pizza box, just like...
It's like dripping. I was like, this is delicious.
Because you'd have to wait like 2 hours to go inside or something like that.
No, thank you.
So we just like ate it in the street, out of the box, standing there.
That was great. So if you pass through Naples, stop and grab a little slice of pizza. And the pizza's good everywhere, honestly. That was my favorite place, but we had really good pizza.
Well, one of the best parts of our Naples trip, too, was we went to the Amalfi Coast.
Sorrento?
Well, we went by Sorrento, but the place where the people are just like...
Pompeii.
Pompeii. Those two places, those are must-sees. When you're traveling the world, everywhere you go, there's like 10 places that you can go a day trip within that place, but you just want to be there sometimes. And sometimes you just want to do nothing because you
can only handle so much.
Yeah.
You just get to where you don't even appreciate it because you're seeing so much. If you're going to work hard to get there, you want to enjoy it. You have to pace it. So then after Naples, we went to Venice. I mean, Venice is always amazing. It's just fascinating. We were there during one of the days it flooded, and it floods.
It was crazy.
These buildings and these old architectural structures are just flooded with water. And so that was really interesting to witness.
Yeah, Venice is just fascinating, though. It's like a sinking city.
After that, we went to Milan.
We were kind of burnt out by then, and the roller coaster outside of our window.
Oh, yeah. We had the train. Well, it was like
the tram.
The tram, and it was so noisy.
I think it's one of the oldest trams in the world. Mm-hmm. Like, they sold San Francisco their tram. Are they trams? Wow. Is that what it's called?
Probably.
Tram? Yeah. They sold them their trams way back in the day.
So it was a little noisy. Our place we stayed in was beautiful, and we were in a great location. It's just that noisy train that would cruise on by.
All the time. So we're running like the loudest sound machine app possible
at night. The Milan Duomo was so cool. We went and beautiful. They have free concerts at night, and so we got this free concert of this string quartet, or was it a trio? I can't remember.
It was slightly boring, but
I was just fascinated being in there. I probably could have been a little short.
It was good. No, it was good. It was good. I was just hoping there would be a little more singing. Yeah, they were very talented. It was very beautiful.
But I walked into that building, I looked up and I out loud just went, oh my gosh. The structures that they have in here are wild. There was a really neat place we stopped, a cathedral that we stopped in Venice and walked in, and there happened to be this high school choir from
that was cool.
Somewhere in America, actually, and it was an orchestra. Oh man, that is like overwhelming to my system. You put me in a beautiful place with beautiful music and I almost can't even deal. And so that was super cool. Britlin and I share that love of music.
One of the coolest things about going on a trip like this are the things that you don't plan for or expect, that you just walk into or happen. And I think that's like anything in life. You got to plan something to find something different. That's deep.
Expect the unexpected.
Deep.
So after Milan, we went to Zermatt, Switzerland. I loved this place.
Zermatt,
it was cozy. It was beautiful. The Matterhorn is as cool as you would think it would be.
Guys, Tara.
I skied. I have skied once or twice in my life, and I did not enjoy it. It was terrifying.
She did not plan on skiing.
I did not, but we went skiing. The first day was a little rough because I was going on hills that were way too big, and it was just like, this is painful. I'm not really enjoying myself. And then I went on the bunny, the little tiny kid slopes forever. Yeah. Then I was like, okay, this is more fun. Like I can actually stand up. And then Justin and Britlin found me this beautiful little trail. It was so amazing. There were only a few people on it, and I would go down it, and I would hop on the little ski lift and go up, and I'd go up and down it again and again and again. I loved it. The only problem is we did not put sunscreen on our kids' faces. They got these crazy sunburns. They handled it really well, but I've never seen their faces more swollen in my whole life. So if it's cold
sad.
and you're not expecting to get sunburn, you will. chill. So wear sunscreen.
So we had to take a couple days off, or they did.
Then we went to Paris. That was wonderful. Paris is always cool. It's busy. It's hard to get around there.
We went to the Eiffel Tower, and we didn't go to the Eiffel Tower.
I went to the wrong place. That's pretty darn good. Of all the places we went to, we got there at the right time, but I took us to the very not right place on that day. And it rained and we got stuck.
And we were meeting with our good friend Jorge Lara.
Yep.
And so we're like, we're not there.
We're like 40 minutes away. So that was fun.
But then we did go to dinner with him. He's someone that we knew from our previous business, and hanging out with him was super cool. Shout out to you, Jorge. You're the man.
That's right. He is super cool. Really enjoyed being with him. Paris is fun. I mean, they have delicious food. Angeline's is always going to be probably my favorite dessert place. I think that's how you say it, Angeline's or Angelina's. So I got to share that with the kids. Yeah. I've been telling them about that for years. That was wonderful.
That was delicious.
Then we went to London, and it was so nice to be back in a country where we could speak the language. It just felt really good.
It was kind of cool.
I don't speak all the languages, so that, that's on me.
I enjoyed the Spanish-speaking countries because I speak Spanish.
Because you speak. It was really, really great to be in places where we could speak English. We were in the Soho district, and so they have theatrical plays everywhere. And we went and saw Les Mis. Oh,
amazing.
That was wonderful. But I loved London. I loved the Soho district. That was really fun. The Borough Market.
Yeah,
that was a blast.
The Borough Market.
That was just a great place to end. And that was the only time we were able to find a gym. That was epic. It's like, yes, a gym. Yeah. Finally, after 9 months, we have a gym. And so those are all the different locations that we went to. The cool thing about traveling is that you realize a place is really what you make of it and who you're with. Now, yeah, there are some places I probably don't really want to be.
AC or not.
we really value AC.
Or if there are mosquitoes biting you.
Totally. If you're sleeping in a net, we definitely did that a few times.
But it was less about where we went per se and who we were with, how we felt when we were there. And I was literally in Bora Bora, and I was like,
losing it,
ready to leave.
And so what was cool is everywhere we went, there was something about it that I was like, I could do this forever. And there were other things where I'm like,
isn't that funny?
I'm so glad I don't have to do this forever. I mean, in Europe, they're amazing. A lot of them do not have dryers. Props to you guys. Clap my hands. I am so grateful for a dryer. But there were certain things I was just like, okay, I'm ready to move on from this because this is kind of crazy.
Hanging our clothes up in the rain.
Yep. I learned how to use many different washers and dryers in many different languages, and some that I've never even experienced. It was basically like washing it by hand, but that was fun. So let's wrap up. Let's talk about a few of our favorite things. Some of mine are like, we did it all together. We have all these memories, the highs and the lows, and we did this all together, and I feel like our relationships are stronger.
Yeah, you were talking about Berlin's your best friend.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say me.
You already are,
okay.
Silly goose. So we went on this trip and, you have your 16-year-old daughter. And I don't know, we had such a good time shopping and, doing the girly things together. And so now it's like she and I are just buds. I've always felt like Kason and I are buds. I get him on many different levels.
Well, you have to counsel him after talking to me, after he talks to me.
He and I have really good conversations. So does Britt.
Dad, why aren't you more like Mom? You're the reason why we struggle sometimes.
Oh, yeah, it's me.
I don't feel like we struggle lately.
And then it was super fun spending, half the time with Brogan and just seeing like his love of birds and being outdoors.
So
and
Brogan's he's just going on his daily bird.
He's just easy to be around and he's just warm. And so that was wonderful.
He snuggles me.
He does. He gives you snuggles and you love that. But what's cool is we got to expose our kids to so much of the world. Like for me, I felt like growing up, this was my interpretation. I was like, I must be struggling because I need this and this. And when you go out in the world and you experience so much, you realize you're not missing anything. But if you want to go explore it. And if you want to, open your mind and meet new people and different things, do that. But one of the greatest adventures you'll ever have is just being alive and being in a relationship or having a family or a job or a career. That's the greatest adventure.
I think any time in life when you have a woe is me, or grass is green on the other side, or it's no fair. It doesn't matter what you do or where you go, you're still going to feel that way.
Yeah.
First of all, the goal is like, get married and then have kids and then make money and get the big house and then travel the world. And the truth is in all of that, we're grateful for all the experiences that we've had. But it's all in the way we see things, the way we think about life is really when we're happy or not or how we feel.
It's like situations can change, but over time, a situation that you're in, after a week or two, your mind comes back. If you haven't changed your thinking and you're in a new situation, you'll just show up being the same person. And so I love when we achieve our dreams because a lot of times I put a lot on them and I think this dream is going to do something. And I'm really grateful for the experiences and they're fulfilling. But I feel like true happiness comes from me being willing to face myself and change the way I think, the things I believe, the end suffering.
Yeah, sometimes we felt, or at least me, I felt the most depressed was when I reached all my goals and I didn't feel that much different. I didn't feel happy all the time, that much more amazing.
Yep.
And that is kind of depressing. So check yourself before you check yourself before you get there, and then you can just enjoy the journey.
And if you show up somewhere and you don't feel great, like, great, do that inner work. Happiness is an inner job. It's really great to achieve things, and you can develop, a lot of the habits and things that will support that inner journey. And so I'm grateful for all the dreams we've achieved, because I feel like they've made me braver to actually face the things that I'm really scared of inside. And that's what I like about traveling. It exposes so much. It's not for the faint of heart to just go, I'm going to go travel all around the world and do all these crazy things. It was wild. And every place we finished, it was just kind of like, phew, check that. We went there. We're alive. Everybody's alive.
Huh? Like,
you feel so accomplished. We survived. Like, we got our stuff. We're moving on to the next place, and everything is okay. And so that was really amazing. I love kind of sensing the vibe of different places, sights, sounds, smells, people. Loved being around all these different people. I used to ask myself everywhere we went, because we were out and about. That's what I loved too, was I was outside way more, because we would get finished with the day and then we'd go outside. We'd be swimming, or I'm way more comfortable in the ocean after so much swimming, and we'd be with people all the time. And I'd always ask myself, like, do I love these people? Am I judging them? And so I learned a lot about myself with the ability to learn complete strangers that I'm just walking by in the street. And I have a lot of work to do still there, but I loved just testing myself. What biases am I bringing, and what am I offering to these people? And half the time I was just tired, but like pumped to be there, but like, I'm tired. So I'm like, okay, I got to work on some things. So
55 Airbnbs, 55. Come on.
Totally. Come on. You got a little bit tired. I loved being out in nature. We went on so many cool boat rides and hikes and swimming, and
that was some of my favorite parts, like seeing you swim with sharks and manta rays and go skiing. Like, I live for seeing you smile.
He really does. Like, he loves to take care of me, and he loves to see me light up and come to life. So he's amazing that way. Oh,
get a room.
Oh, you know what I really loved too was experiencing other people's worship.
Yeah, you're really amazing in that way.
I love religions. I love world religions. They speak to me because I love to see how people see the world, and I love to see them believing in something. And it was so fun to watch the people in Bali in their morning rituals and their clothing, and such good people. That was really inspiring to witness.
And we're talking about religions, but an epiphany I've had recently is someone's religion is just their perspective and the way they think. Literally, even if they don't have religion in their life, it's just a beautiful thing. And I think the more we are open to that and see that and the way people think and differences of opinions and thoughts, that's the beauty.
It was so neat we went to some Catholic masses. We went to all these cathedrals. We got to learn history of these different religions, went to the Vatican, and I think it's beautiful. And I'm really, really fascinated by it. We had some really cool conversations with people in Ubers and cars and tour guides. And tour guides are great. Sometimes they answer your questions, and sometimes they just skip right on by them. And because I'm very curious. Sometimes I'd ask questions. I'm like, maybe that was insulting. I'm not really sure. But that was really fun. So I loved just kind of seeing how people worship. And it was cool to see our own church. So we're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so we went to, 20 different buildings or so throughout the world.
If anyone's doing the math, we maybe should have gone to more.
We may have missed a couple. Some places it wasn't impossible.
In Bali, yeah. It's like
But it was just fun to see
away.
People with similar beliefs, how they function in different parts of the world. So that was really cool. What I also liked was it was a huge exercise in letting go. You can only take so many things with you. You just have a suitcase. What's crazy is you have one suitcase and one backpack, and we still could have taken less. We could have taken probably about half of what we had. I find myself now that I'm home and after purging so much in that huge house, when I buy something, I'm like, do I really want that? I don't. And so I'm not as interested in shopping anymore because it's just stuff, and you can overwhelm yourself with stuff. And so I really like that.
Unless it's a Cybertruck.
Okay, well, let's not talk about that.
We haven't got it yet. We're talking about it. We'll see.
But I love all the pictures that we have and the memories that we have, and those we get to keep forever. I love when you see something on TV or someone's talking about a place, you kind of have like an instant connection. I like too that we're not disillusioned by travel. It's not like this thing we're going to go, it's going to fix everything. And travel is very fulfilling, but the most fulfilling thing is just to find that joy within yourself.
It's almost like in a way we appreciate more where we are because we realize like no matter where we go, it's all about our perspective on things. You've been listening to a lot of Byron Katie. You love Byron Katie. And her whole thing is loving what is, loving where you are, how you are. Like it's all about your thoughts. Your thoughts are what make you happy or miserable.
Well, I was listening to her today, and it's taken me years to kind of grasp the depth to which she speaks from. And so today she was saying, everything is good. The universe is inherently so good. And we struggle with that because we go through hard things. We have ideas on why the universe isn't good. I had my own things and still do. And so she says, everything is good other than what we are thinking and believing that causes us suffering. And I found that to be true on this trip. I mean, I am in paradise and it's so good and the people are good, but I caused myself plenty of suffering in my daily life because of what I think and what I believe. And so I'm grateful for travel because it exposes so many things that allows us to go, okay, this is more about me. This is more how I'm thinking and how to function. And so we're here to say you don't have to travel. You don't have to do what we did. If you want to and you feel pulled to do that, go for it. But I think the greatest adventure you will ever have, if I think of the most epic thing I've ever done, it has been to marry you and to learn to love you in the right way. And man, have I had my booty kicked big time because sometimes I'm good and sometimes I'm not cool in a marriage. So that's been epic for me, and learning how to love you better and better and have an open heart and an open mind. That's one of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced. Family, families that we grew up in. The older I get, the more I appreciate my parents and my siblings. And then having kids and seeing them grow, and that's the greatest adventure. Mm-hmm. And having a business, there is so much growth that has come from you and I working together. And it's not been easy at times, but from having a business and a career.
Think about MU was essentially born just a little bit before we left. Think about all that was done while we were on this crazy trip.
So much. And it's all because we started a business right when we had gotten married. Not that you have to do that right when you've gotten married, but we were able to do this and have these experiences because we took that risk and started a business. And so it has blessed our life greatly. I think the greatest adventure is you facing yourself, living in this world and being good with you, being good with the people you're with, and taking the risks and the chances that you want to take to have the experiences that you want to have.
So yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway. Wherever you are in life, what's the thing that you want to do? What's holding you back? And just go into it. The obstacle is the way. We have some crazy things that have been going on in the last few weeks.
Since we've been home,
we'll talk about at some point. Don't think we're ready or able to talk about that yet. But perspective is everything. Take action on your dreams, but love where you are. You're going to fail. You're going to struggle, but just keep going. Surround yourself with people who will support you in that. Yeah. And we're here for you. Whatever you need, hit us up.
So until next time.
Class dismissed. I forgot to say.
What do you say?